Feature request. Someone was asking, is there a trade log with nice graphics, like a chart with profit and loss stats over a certain period of time that's available within TradersPost?
Not at the moment. So what I built like earlier this year was what I'll call portfolio analytics, which basically just take your running daily balance that we calculate at the end of each day and any cash adjustments in your account if you've provided them, and provides some high level analytics to the performance of your account. What's your annualized return, Sharpe ratio, Omega, max drawdown, things like that. That's at the broker level. So your broker connection should have that data. Now, it's not historical. It's based on the date that you connected your broker to TradersPost and only from that date forward. So you might have had an interactive broker's account for 5 years or 15 years in my case, but we're only going to have data since the time that you imported or added the connection to interactive brokers from that day going forward. So to this exact question, we are currently working on an analytics package that will provide trade P&L data along with nice fancy charts and P&L data at the broker level, at the strategy level, the subscription level, and down to the trade level. So this will give you a really good comprehensive view of exactly how all of your strategies are performing, how individual strategies are performing, or even how you did on your last trade.
I don't know if you're seeing all these posts on Twitter or on Reddit, but I was actually blown away by Cursor AI, which is this development tool that people are using in order to create apps and interfaces and stuff for themselves. And one of the things that people are doing are creating sort of like tools to surface information within their portfolio or their trading styles or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm curious about the arms race that's going to happen between TradersPost and us figuring out all kinds of interesting ways to surface information for you, and the ability for someone to pass the a screenshot of their of the backend of their TraderPost dashboard, feed that to an AI, and then it displays information in a way that they might find useful. Of course, the problem everyone's going to run into, which I ran into as well, is that you'll sit down, you'll be like, okay, I'll use Cursor AI in order to do it. I'll generate something, and then you go, I don't know what actually looks good or what I should be asking. And then you'll find out, oh, that's why I need TradersPost, because they got people sitting around all day long trying to figure out how to make this better, how to surface information, and what's useful or not useful. And so you're going to want to deal with companies in the AI world who are innovative, who have ideas, who are always thinking, because we're also using those tools in order to make things better. You're not going to catch up to us.
Sure. And I think we've all got, at least on our team, we've all got experience with these tools enough to tell you what's worth paying attention to. There's 100,000 different metrics that you can analyze when it comes to, trade and portfolio performance. But what really matters to most people is, how well am I doing? Do I have more winners than losers? And when I win, do I make more than I lose? And I think we'll focus on things like your general equity curve and your calendar of wins and losses, so that you get a sense of like, how did I do in September? How did all my strategies do? How did my how did things occur at the broker level, and so on and so forth. So that's the idea.
Plus, with AI, it's so cautious, right? It never wants to say anything to push you one direction or the other. So cautious that I was using Open Interpreter in order to generate. I fed it a chart of Bitcoin. I said, hey, what would you tell me about this chart for Bitcoin? Is it about to break out? Has it broken out? What should I be doing with this? And it does this whole analysis. It went to pull information from Y Finance and it created a React app, and it showed me a report of what's going on. And the conclusion at the end of the report is Bitcoin looks to be going up, but there's no guarantee it goes up. It could go down, so it can go either way.
So
it
said like, nothing.
Exactly. I was like, okay, so you're like every other investment advisor I've ever met in my entire life. Thank you very much. I don't know that we're gonna find an AI system that's like definitively this is bullish, but we'll see.
I find that a little frustrating, because at the end of the day, it's not our job to try to predict what's going to happen. It's our job to measure what is happening, right? Like the key to a high probability setup is just being accurate in your current measurement. What are the chances that it will go up from here or go down from here is based on how well you're currently measuring the market, including measuring the sentiment from the options market. And so it's kind of strange to me that the model or the LLMs out there right now aren't willing to at least give you their sense of how the market stands today, right? Are we in overbought or oversold territory? Are we, more greedy or more fearful at the moment? Those extremes are what we're looking for. Although I still maintain we're still kind of in neutral territory at the moment.
You had said on a previous episode the idea of at least using the AI, or not at least, but a good reason to use AI is to for to analyze your own emotional state. To go,
Ooh,
hey,
yeah.
am I too nervous? Am I too angry, or whatever? And with a new voice model, have you tried the new advanced voice model for ChatGPT?
Okay, so I have a story on this. My kids do not really play around with ChatGPT all that much, which I find surprising that I'm more in tune with latest technology advancements than my own kids are. I brought ChatGPT out to the table at dinner the other day, and I turned it on. I got the advanced voice functionality because I've been on that wait list forever, and I just said, "Hey, my kids are at the table. I want you to have a conversation with them and ask them how they're doing." And it was the most hilarious thing. They started testing its ability to parse their more Gen Z lingo. So they were like Skibbity Ohio Riz, or they're asking about some random YouTuber that they've been following recently, and every time it knew what they were talking about. So I found that part amazing, that my kids were so blown away that ChatGPT has knowledge about their world, if you will.
Have you tried? Well, I don't know if you had that problem, but I keep the chat on my computer, and not on my computer, but my phone next to my computer. And as I'm talking through what I'm thinking about for a trade, I'll ask it to tell me if it thinks then I'm being impulsive or too eager or
Really?
chasing anything. Yeah, just respond to me. Just tell me, hey, you sound like you're a little bit whatever, and it will. It'll actually pipe in. Now it'll also chime in other times. It'll talk other times, but I'll just tune that out. And but I even had it when I had it on my desk when I was talking to my wife, and then I was like, raising my voice to my wife and playfully, and it reminded me, hey, you're a little bit too heated there. You're gonna want to calm
No,
down
it
a bit. I was like, oh
didn't.
my god, yeah, because it didn't know I wasn't talking about stocks. I was like, this is unbelievable. And then when I played with my kid, he was it felt so real to him. He was embarrassed. It was almost like the AI was another person listening to what we were talking about.
Whoa.
And I was just talking to him about what we're normally talking about, but to have this other voice there, he's shy and blushing. I go, it's an AI. What do you worry about? He's like, I can't. I still feel nervous about this AI listening to me. So we're getting there.
We're getting there, and my kids had the same kind of response too. They were both very shy to talk to it, which I found really interesting, because it's like there's not going to be any judgment that comes from an AI model, obviously. So there's no reason to be too shy. But they just weren't sure what to say, like how to interact with it. It still feels a little unnatural to be interacting with an AI model. But I think, to your point, if you treat it like it's just another human being, I think we're going to be surprised how accurate it is in just having a normal conversation. The fact that it's picking out your emotions without a lot of contextual history about you, Tom Hartman, is really fascinating to me, though. Like, how much do you think you're actually able to influence it agreeing with you? Because you know how in general the models tend to be deferential. They tend to agree with you more than disagree with you. How
Mhm.
likely is it that when you ask it, "Hey, am I being a little emotional?" it's just going to agree with you?
I'm not even. I'm just asking it to pick up. Maybe it's picking up on the words I'm saying.
Mm.
Maybe it isn't picking up on the tone, but it has tone. And when I ask it to have different sort of because I'll actually ask it to whisper all the time, so that there's a whisper happening in my ear constantly, and so it'll say like, "Hey, maybe you want to choose different words for what you're saying. Maybe you want to be a little bit." And I'm like, "This is
Man.
it is picking up." Like I never had to
So
correct it. It was never wrong.
we're like 6 months away from the movie Her. Like, I wish that Scarlett Johansson had penned a deal with OpenAI, because I would have loved to have her voice in my ear.
That's right.